Good morning, ultimate hustlers and digital empire builders. It is that time for the Cortez Hustle Show. And today we're continuing our series on Black Wealth Matters, 20 money habits rich people practice that poor and middle class people don't. This is Black History Month, and we want to bring solutions to create a brighter future. So some people celebrate Black History Month, but don't forget, this is also Black Future Month, because we're creating history and creating a brighter future with every decision that we make. So do your boy a huge favor, comment in the chat where you're from, drop the name of your business and or your brand, and smash that share button, ladies and gentlemen, and let's kick it this morning. Yo, what's up, ultimate hustlers, and welcome to the Cortez Hustle Show, the business podcast for the entrepreneur of the 21st century. And I'm your host, Cortez Hustle. Our goal is to give you a behind-the-scenes look at how the world's greatest hustlers build amazing brands, scale their businesses to incredible heights, sell more, make more, and create mass movements that impact the world. It doesn't matter if you're a seasoned vet or you're sitting on the sidelines with aspirations to one day unleash your inner hustle. This show will provide the insights into how pure grit, determination, and hard work has morphed into some of the most iconic brands and personalities, and how they are moving the culture forward. You'll get a mix of solo shows featuring yours truly, as well as interviews and content from other hustlers that I either know personally, or I've learned from, or whose grind I've come to know and respect. And you'll also get exclusive recordings from our membership called Monetize My Life Academy, which you can check out at monetizemylifeacademy.com. That's a program where we go live every month with some of the best hustlers on the planet, sharing best practices on how we all can explode our brands with advanced branding and marketing tactics, business development strategies, and financial game planning necessary to build the empires we all desire. Again, that's at monetizemylifeacademy.com. If you like today's episode, chances are the hustlers you're connected to will like it as well. Share it with those in your network. And when you do, use hashtag Cortez Hustle so I can see you and hopefully give you a shout out and share you in my stories. So check out today's episode and make sure you subscribe to the feed on your favorite podcasting networks. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Cortez Hustle Show. I am, of course, your host, Cortez Hustle, everybody's favorite fatherpreneur, coming to you live and direct from the Black Biz Success Mastermind studios right here in St. Louis, Missouri. If you're not familiar with the Black Biz Success Mastermind, it is a group for aspiring entrepreneurs, existing entrepreneurs looking to grow and scale their businesses, and people like you who might just want to support and network with Black entrepreneurs. If that is you, text keyword mastermind to 314-866-4053. Again, text keyword mastermind to 314-866-4053. Got some cool stuff coming up in the mastermind community for next week. We're literally doing office hours twice a week starting next week, where I'm going to open my room for digital marketing decoded, right? Live Q&A. So for whatever your business is, you want to do some branding and some marketing and you need some help with that, you're going to be able to get your questions answered live if you're a part of our mastermind community. So make sure you text mastermind to 314-866-4053. We are celebrating Black History Month, man, by offering solutions. We got to bring economic empowerment to the Black community. And the way that I do it is through digital marketing and entrepreneurship education. But the way all of us can participate is by getting our individual finances together, right? That is critically important. And if you have not already, comment the name of your business. If you have not already shared the stream, that is your price of admission, is a simple share. Tell us a little bit about what you do in the comments without being spammy or salesy and dropping links. But you should be using this feed as a way to do some networking. You should be friending everybody in this feed because they are of like minds if they're watching the same show that you're doing, that you're watching, right? All right, this can't turn into a coaching session. I'm just saying, take full advantage. So before we get into that, a couple quick announcements, ladies and gentlemen. The lead generation workshop is coming. I'm putting the finishing touches on that. And some of you guys will actually get a survey from me as I put the finishing touches on this thing. And that's going to allow you not only free access to the lead generation workshop, but also the course that's going to come out of it. So Be on the lookout for that and keep your notifications turned on to all the channels that I have, whether you're watching this on the Cortez Hustle page or the Financial Health Mentor page or any of my personal pages. Stay locked in, because if you are in service-based business, you're a coach or consultant, and you are looking to leverage Facebook and other social platforms as a lead generation source, you do not want to miss this workshop that we're putting together. Also, the Daily Hustle, ladies and gentlemen, I'm getting some cool feedback from the Daily Hustle. Y'all listen, every day I want to send you content that you can post that's going to attract the right person to your brand, right? Every day. It's called the Daily Hustle. If you text Daily Hustle to 314-730-3999, if you're struggling with what to post on social media, if you're struggling with how to convert followers and fans and likes to leads using your social media platforms, you need to be on the Daily Hustle list. Every day, I want to email you with 3 things primarily. I'm going to email you with an affirmation that you should be reciting yourself, but that affirmation also provides content for your followers. I'm going to email you an infographic, usually on success, life hacks, money tips, business tips, entrepreneurship type stuff, general stuff that usually gets people engaging, commenting, liking, sharing your stuff. Then you get a link to a video every day where I break down and explain how to use that day's content, including how to craft your unique transformation proposition that should be on all of your posts going forward. And guess what? We also provide the caption, because some of you guys don't know how to write copy, and that's cool. We provide the caption and the research hashtags. Listen, stop playing. Text Daily Hustle to 314-730-3999 so you can get access to the content that you need to be posting. And it literally is one email, but that training will show you how to take that one piece of content that I provide and turn it into about 10, right? So your social media can be handled with one simple email. So we're talking Black Wealth Matters today, and 20 money habits rich people practice that poor and middle class people don't. But if you're new here, we start the Cortez Hustle show with a quote of the day. Today's quote says this: until you can admit that you are the problem, you will never realize that you are the solution. Oh, I want you to get this. Until you can admit, boy, they say accountability is a mug. Until you can admit that you are the problem, you will never realize that you too are the solution, right? We got to be accountable. We got to take full responsibility for where we are. The lot that we have created in this life is all on us, ladies and gentlemen. What you do, and the opposite of that is, as long as you are blaming other people for where you are, you're robbing yourself of the power to fix the situation. Because if something outside of you has caused your conditions, what you're saying to your subconscious mind is that something outside of you is required to fix it. So admit that you are where you are based on who you have become to this point, so that you can come to the realization that who I became got me here. If I want to go somewhere else, all I got to do is become someone else. And when I say someone else, I'm not talking about an entirely different person. I'm talking about someone else as in a better version of yourself, or a closer version to your fullest potential. That's the becoming process. You should be constantly becoming more and more of who you already are. You should be constantly getting closer to the fulfillment of your actual potential. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is the quote of the day, brought to you again by the daily hustle. I'm going to keep driving this daily hustle thing on you, man, because some of y'all are struggling with your social media. You don't want to admit that the stuff that you're posting ain't getting no traction, ain't getting no likes, ain't getting no love. And above all, the people that are connecting with your content, they're not getting on your calendar for booked appointments. They're not asking you about your business and how you can serve and help them. I want to help you with that. Text the keyword daily hustle to 314-730-3999. And every day I'm going to send you some content. I'm sending you my personal lead generation strategy, the stuff that I'm posting that gets shared thousands of times, stuff that goes viral. Yeah, I want to help you with your social media marketing so that you can grow and scale your business. So we're talking 20 money habits that rich people have and practice that poor and middle class people do not. Now, this is not a shame post, right? For those of you who have been following me for any length of time, you know that I'm talking to two people when I do this podcast. You guys just happen to hear me talking to these individuals out loud. The first person that I'm talking to is myself. I research, I look this stuff up because these are things that I'm struggling with. These are things that I'm trying to get better at. These are habits I'm trying to create for myself. So I'm looking this stuff up for myself. So I'm talking to me first and foremost. The second group of people that I'm talking to my future descendants. People don't understand this about Facebook and YouTube and content creation and all of this stuff. Man, how many of you put a one in the comment if you would like the ability to literally know what your great great grandfather or great great grandmother was thinking during the time that they lived? How cool would that be, right? My great grandfather, George Buchanan, right, raised 10, 11 kids, was a sharecropper, entrepreneur, and I would love to know what was going on in his mind as he was going through segregated South in Nettleton, Mississippi, where at 40, 50, 60 years old, he's got to contend with people half his age because they're white calling him a boy, right? So I do this for myself personally, but I also do this for my future descendants. So there will be no question about luck when my great great grandchildren see the empire that they will stand to inherit. They're going to be able to come back to all of this content and say, no, I wasn't no luck involved. My great great grandfather built this. And he told us he was building it while he was building it on a podcast called the Cortez Hustle Show. So that's why I do it. Now, you guys get to take advantage of just listening to me talk to myself. So don't ever think that I'm talking down. Don't ever think that I have arrived and I'm trying to position myself as I'm better than that. No, that ain't it, man. This is me trying to get my ish together, and I'm just bringing y'all along for the ride, if that makes sense. So we're talking 20 money habits that wealthy and successful people practice that poor and middle class people do not. So I'm going to recap the first 8 really, really quickly, and then we're going to jump into the last 12. And if you stick around to the end, I'm going to give you one that everybody should be deploying, and it's a flat out game changer. So the number one thing that they do is they set clear goals, right? We tend to set goals when it comes to ambition on our job, right? Glenn Tate says, I'm currently researching my ancestors now, man. I love that. I love that. We tend to set goals on our job. Hey, I want to be a supervisor or a manager. I want a new job, a better job, right? But we rarely set financial goals to say, hey, I want my cash flow, my passive income to be X. I want my debt to be gone. I want my credit score to be this, right? They set clear goals. Number 2, they visualize success. They visualize success. I put a reel up on my my Instagram and my channels. I think it was yesterday or the day before, and I asked the question, how often do you sit with your future self? Right? That's me visualizing success. I literally go and sit with the Cortez of 2027, 2030, and I have conversations with what life is like. And I reverse engineer who I need to become in order to make that happen. How often do you visualize? Do you see? Do you go to that place and you sit down and you smell and you feel and you touch and you taste and you experience the success? Right. Number three, they have daily must-do lists, right? They wake up every morning and they know there's certain things that they absolutely must get done, right? If you've ever read Brian Tracy's book, Eat That Frog, I don't have it on this shelf. It must be on that shelf. Eat That Frog is all about time management from a standpoint of doing the big things first, right? The most important things first, knocking down that first big domino, and then everything else falls, right? He described it as most people, if they've got some boulders and rocks they're trying to put in a container, most people go and pick up all the small things first. And they put those in there, and then they fill the container with all the small things, and now there's no room for the big things. He said you should do it in reverse. Put the three biggest things in the bucket first, and then all the small pebbles will kind of fill in the space around it. So that's kind of how I try to live my life. Hey, I got three major things that I want to accomplish today, and I go after those things, right? So they have a must-do list. Number four, they avoid instant gratification, right? They avoid instant gratification. Stop chasing things that's going to give you that high, that rush, that right now. Remember, be, do, have. You got to become. Then you do, then you have. But becoming comes from the journey. That's why lottery winners will often go broke, because they didn't become a millionaire before they got the $1 million. You got to become first. And it's the journey that allows you to become, right? If I got $1 billion today, I probably wouldn't know what to do with it. But I'm becoming a $1 billion human being. So when I get the actual $1 billion resource, then I'm already used to functioning at that level, right? So they avoid instant gratification. Number four, they avoid get rich quick schemes. Kind of ties into number four, right? With instant gratification. That's what get rich quick is. It's like, no, there's a process, there's a journey that you must go through. There's transformation that needs to happen. There's mindset shifting that needs to happen. There's perspective shifting that needs to happen. And that doesn't happen overnight, right? You got to go through some stuff. Number six, they are risk takers. Risk takers. That means they have set up a tent outside of their comfort zone, because that's what taking risks is all about. It's about you getting comfortable being uncomfortable, right? They set up a tent outside of their comfort zone, and that's where they live. They take risks. Number seven, they read personal development publications. You are who you are based on what you consume, but what you consume also includes the places you go and the people that you associate with. You are who you are based on what you consume. And what you consume consists of the places, the books you read, the places you go, and the people you associate with. So any content that you consume, like this podcast you're consuming, right? Anything that you listen to, everything that is being fed into your senses, that's consumption, right? And that also is contributed to by your associations and the places that you frequent, right? The environments that you put yourself in. Number eight, they don't feel failure. They don't feel failure. They feel failure. They fail, but they're not scared of it. They're not afraid of it, right? Les Brown said one time, fear is a fact, but it's not a force. Fear is a fact. Like, I am afraid of stuff, but it doesn't have to be a force that keeps me from doing the things that I'm afraid of. Fear is a fact, but it doesn't have to be a force. That's where courage comes in. That's where being brave comes in. It is not that you don't feel fear when you're brave. You feel fear and you move in spite of the fear, right? Can't be afraid to invest because you might lose a little money. Well, heck, if you go to the strip club and you throw that money up, you're going to lose that too. You go to the fast food joints and you upsize your meals, you're losing that money too. When you buy things that have no return on investment, you're losing that money too. And you know there's no chance of you ever getting that money back, right? But at least if you invest, there's at least a chance of you getting that money back. So those are the first 8. We got 12 more to go. And then if you stick around to the end, I'm going to talk to you about the number one way that I think you should go about building your empire. But y'all know what time it is. Who can tell me what time it is, right? If you know what time it is, put it in the comments. If you're new here on the Cortez Hustle Show, we do a segment every single episode, and we call that segment 1 Minute Motivation. That's where we play a short motivational clip. And this is my contribution to help you start to see and think, because as I stated before, everything that you consume is what's making up who you are. So personal growth and self-development is not only when you're reading a positive book. It's when you're reading anything, it's contributing to your personal growth and development. The question is, are you growing in the right direction? I want to make sure that you're growing in the right direction. So we do positive personal growth and self-development right here on the Cortez Hustle Show with 1 Minute Motivation. Let's get to it.
It's not about today. It's about the future. You do the work now. And all of the shit that you could ever want to do for your family, your kids, your loved ones, it's all going to be on a whole nother stratosphere.
This suffering, this sacrifice you're making is an indicator of progress. It's an indicator of obsession. It's an indication of progress towards our dreams.
Dreams require sacrifices. You're not entitled to your dream. You have to fucking bleed for your fucking dream.
The price you will pay for not making your dream come true is far greater than the one that you will pay to make it come true.
If you can't stick to something for 5 fucking days, you deserve to have a shitty life. You deserve to get your ass kicked. You deserve to be miserable. We're talking about 5 fucking days. We're not talking about 50 years. We're not talking about the 5 years it probably takes to build something worthwhile. We're not talking about the 5 months it could take for you to lose 100 pounds. We're talking about 5 fucking days. And you can't even stick to it for that. So what the do you think you deserve? You deserve exactly what you want. And that's the truth. That's the things your friends won't tell you when you're bitching and moaning about how your life sucks on Friday night, drinking a fucking brewski with your boys. That's the your mom won't tell you when you're sitting in your mom's basement playing fucking video games when you should be reading or improving or working out or fucking doing something.
Hoo-wee. Yeah, that was some grown folks right there, right? That ain't your mama's motivation right there, man. It's if you get that in your spirit, it's not about today. It's about your future. If you get that in your spirit, Nicole Lucky, I see you. Welcome to the stream. Happy Friday. If you get that in your spirit, it's not about today, right? What you're doing today is not about today. It's about your future. And I look at that every day, that where I am today is based solely on the decisions that I made yesterday, the day before, last month, last year, last 5 years, last 10 years, have all led me to here. And if I don't want the next 5 years to be the same, I got to make different decisions, different choices, irregardless of whether I feel like it or not. Sometimes we're waiting until we feel like doing the things that we need to do to have the success that we want to have. You're not always going to feel like it. Every day I try to talk myself out of working out. Oh man, you got to go ahead and sleep in today. Today should be your rest day. Every day I have this argument with myself, trying to talk myself out of doing today what I know my future self is going to thank me for. Regret costs more than discipline in the long run. I hope y'all get that. Regret costs more than discipline in the long run. Or to put it in the way that Jim Rohn says it, you're going to pay a price. Either you're going to pay the price of discipline or you're going to pay the price of regret, but you're going to pay a price. The question is, which price do you want to pay? And I will tell you, looking back on some of the things that I did not do that I wish I had is a heck of a price to pay. And I got to live with that for the rest of my life. And that's why I go so hard today, because I don't want to spend the rest of my life talking about shoulda, coulda, woulda, what Thornton Online Marketing could have become, what I Hustle Media Group could have become had I put everything that I had into it. I'm going to live with that regret. What you do today is about your tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. Keep that at the front of your mind, and you'll stop expecting to see an immediate result, right? As they say, you can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect the dots looking backwards. And when you start looking backwards, you'll start to see, well, man, since 2017, when I started Thornton Online Marketing, we've come a long way. It didn't feel like I was making progress. But man, when I left my job in 2015 and I started building my brand as a financial health mentor, right? October 3rd, 2016, I left my job. I was making about $60K a year, right? And I just looked at, as I'm pulling my documents together for my taxes, I looked at my revenue in my business for 2021. And I'm like, man, I finally matched or exceeded my revenue for my salary. Took me 4 years to do it. Wait, what? But you're looking at, I'm connecting the dots, looking backwards. Every day I'm in the trenches, I don't see that progress. But if I look at my revenue from 2021, 2020, 2020, 2019, 2018, I hope you get in this. What you're doing today is not about today. It's about tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, that is 1 Minute Motivation right here on the Cortez Hustle Show, brought to you by The Daily Hustle. If you're struggling with what to post and being consistent on your social media, I'm going to email you every day at 6 a.m. Central Standard Time, and I'm going to give you content to post. I'm going to give you a quick little pep talk and encourage you to go ahead and get your post done for the day. I'm going to give you an infographic. I'm going to give you the captions and the research hashtags that go along with the infographic. So all you got to do is post it. Now, if you're like me and you want to edit it and customize and put your logo on it and brand it a little bit, I also teach you how to do that. Every day, you're going to get this. Text keyword Daily Hustle to 314-730-3999. That phone number is also in the show notes and in the comments as well. So we're going to continue our discussion. I'm going to wrap this up, this episode up, and this series up on Black Wealth Matters, 20 money habits rich people have and practice that poor and middle class people do not, right? So number 9 on the list. Number 9, they turn their passions into a profession. They turn their passions into a profession. I want you to get this. Check this out. Wealthy people find 1 or 2 ways to get paid for 1 or 2 things that they already love to do. This is the key. Wealthy people find 1 or 2 ways to get paid for 1 or 2 things that they love to do. Then they build a brand and a system around it. That's the model that I found, that I follow myself, right? I found 1 or 2 ways to get paid for running my mouth, because that's what I love to do. One of my gifts is the gift of exaltation. I love to lift other people up. So I found 1 or 2 ways to get paid by doing that, right? That's one of the things that I love to do. The other gift that God has given me is the gift of creative genius. And I pointed that towards a passion of mine, which is economic empowerment through entrepreneurship. So I found 1 or 2 ways to get paid from running my mouth and using my creative genius in the field of entrepreneurship. And then I built a system around it and a brand around it. And now I make passive income every single month. And that passive income grows every single month, right? Now all I have to do is just be consistent with letting that compound. Passively, it's compounding, and then I'm extracting some of that revenue and I'm putting it in investments so that it compounds. But wealthy people have figured out how to turn their passions into income streams. And you got to figure out how to do that too. At the end, we're going to talk about the benefits of that and how to turn one stream of income into 5 if you stick around to the end. Number 9, that was number 9. Number 10, be an early riser. Be an early riser. This is a no-brainer. If you're serious about becoming a millionaire, you've got to set the alarm clock an hour or 2 earlier than you already do. Even if you cannot report to your current job at 4 a.m., waking up early will allow you to improve yourself in various ways. You could choose to read a book, network, or check your emails, work out. There's a lot of things that you can do. And what I love about getting up at 4:30 is not only is my family still asleep, but mostly everybody else's family is still asleep too. Literally, there is almost dead silence around the nation at 4:30 a.m. There's only a few of us up at 4:30 a.m. thinking about how we're going to slay our day. There's only a few of us. Compared to the amount of people on the planet, there's almost 8 billion people on the planet. There is probably less than 2 or 3 million people waking up that early, that much earlier than their day actually starts. Now, some people are waking up at 4:30 because they got to be at work at 5. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about if your day doesn't start until 7 a.m., but you're waking up 2 or 3 hours before your day starts, so you can get some time in with yourself, so you can get some time in with your creator, so you can get some time in and building on yourself. Yeah, man. Yeah, we ain't playing no games, man. It took me a while to get here. Now, if your day doesn't start till 9 o'clock and you get up at 7 o'clock, that's the premise, the point here, right? Is give yourself a couple hours before your day normally starts. I used to literally, I had to be at work at 9. I would literally get up at 8:25 because I knew exactly 15 minutes, I can get myself together. And then it took me 20 minutes to get to work. Right. And if something happened on my way to work, I was in trouble because that's how close I was cutting it every day. And now I'm mad at everybody else on the road because I got up at the last minute. It's crazy, right? It's crazy. Number 11, save, and save some more. Having a monthly budget isn't enough. If you can, you must also see to it that you save more than you spend. Start by making a few adjustments to your spending patterns, including unsubscribing from paid television packages and reducing outside dining. Also practice the 30-day rule to avoid splurging on unnecessary items. Right? Glenda said, me too, cutting it close. Nah, man, start giving yourself that extra time. Every morning, start giving yourself that extra time, right? If you think about it, if you get up an hour earlier, how much time you're adding to your year? An hour earlier, right? That's an hour a week. That's 7 hours. That's an hour a day. That's 7 hours a week, right? Times 4, that is 28 hours a month that you are adding to your life. What can you get done with an extra 28 hours every month? Yeah, I'm telling you. Discipline is what you do in your spare time. You want to know what there's two definitions of discipline. There's doing the things that you know need to be done, regardless of whether you feel like doing it or not. That's one definition. But it's also what you do in your spare time. Right? It's crazy. Number 12, find a mentor. Find a mentor. Right? Okay, Doris, I see you. Doris said, listen, I'll be 70 years old in a couple months. I retired from Ford Motor Company. I've always been an early riser, and I have never, ever needed an alarm clock. Man, that is amazing. And I'm starting that so 4:30 is my time right now, right? But I might push it back to 4 because I like just the feeling of knowing that I can get some things done even before I start my workout, right? So I'm excited. Congratulations on your retirement. But number 12 is find a mentor. You guys realize that Elon Musk, Warren Buffett, Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, Bill Gates, Robert Smith, right? These are some of the richest people on the planet, and they all have mentors. These are some of the richest people on the planet, and they all have mentors. And here I am making $60K a year, and I don't have a mentor. What? It don't make sense. It don't make sense. Somebody worth nearly $200 billion has a mentor. And I got a negative net worth and I don't have a mentor. It don't make sense. Find yourself a mentor, people. Find yourself a mentor. And if your mentor doesn't have a mentor, they don't have the right to be your mentor. Number 13, they establish multiple income streams. They establish multiple income streams. We're talking about 20 habits that wealthy people practice that poor and middle class people don't. They establish multiple income streams. You'll hardly become a millionaire if you invest your entire time in one job, and much less if you're employed. So consider establishing multiple income channels. A great way to go about this is to invest in several different industries. Now, let me say this and help you understand the true key to multiple streams of income, right? You guys follow my girl, Dr. Lynn Richardson. She has this book called The Symphony, right? A guide to creating and balancing multiple streams of income. There's one main key to multiple streams of income that hardly anybody talks about, especially if you're following people on social media, right? People on social media always make the memes and the posts that the average millionaire has 7 to 12 income streams. But what they rarely say, though, is this: those income streams are synergistically aligned, right? They learn, they first create a river. This is what's rarely talked about. When you hear people talk about multiple income streams, they first create a river, because all streams come from a river. Most people don't create a river. They're trying to create streams from puddles. That's not how it works. You got to first create a river, right? And then off of that river, you can create other streams. Microsoft created a river to the size of the Nile or the Mississippi, right? With its software solutions, its computers, its Microsoft suite. They created a river. Practically every computer in the world at some point had a Microsoft operating system on it. They created a river, right? And then from that river, you got things like the Xbox, right? From that river, you've got their subscription program to the Microsoft Office suite. From that river, they've got Bing and they've got the Microsoft browser and the Explorer, and all. Like, they created the river first, and then from that river springs forth the streams. Are you focusing on creating a river first? I've got a gazillion ideas. One of the toughest things about this gift of creative genius is, Elon Musk said it like this one time. He said it's like having a never-ending explosion happening in your head at all times. And if you don't know how to manage that, you'll be all over the place. And I didn't understand this when I was a kid. My mom would tell me all the time, boy, you got too many irons in the fire. It's like, what does that mean, lady? You're trying to do too many things, and you're not giving enough focused effort and energy to one thing so that it can develop fully and grow legs and stand on its own. But you're trying all of these little different things, right? And that was one of my challenges. But I realized that when I listened to Myron Golden just yesterday, he was talking about the law of polarity, right? Every gift is a curse and every curse is a gift. So my gift of creative genius, when it's harnessed, I can create some amazing things. But the curse is I'm always trying to create amazing things. And it's easy for me to get distracted, right? So they do have multiple streams, but they created the multiple streams after they built a river, and the multiple streams come out of the river. And if they create a stream that doesn't do well, like the Microsoft cell phone, right? You remember they created their cell phone. They're like, they try to get in the lane with iPhone and all that. And because they have a river, they say, let's just cut that stream off and let's just keep going. And if something else pops out, then it pops out, right? Number 14, they have a monthly budget. They have a monthly budget. Not only do they have a monthly budget, they track 5 major influences when it comes to their income. They're tracking 5 things. My mentor Brian Bean says all the time, you can't measure what you don't track, and you can't grow what you don't measure. You cannot measure what you don't track. That's why in my daily routine, every day, I look at all of my bank accounts because I'm tracking my money now. My business bank accounts, my personal bank accounts, I'm tracking my money. You cannot measure what you don't track, and you cannot grow what you don't measure. So they have monthly budgets, but they're also tracking 5 things. They track their income, of course. Most of us do that, especially if you have a job. You know exactly what your paycheck should be today, right? Today is Friday. You know exactly what your paycheck should be today, right? So they're tracking that, but they're also tracking their expenses. They know exactly where their money is going with their budget, right? They're tracking their debt. If they owe anybody money, they know exactly how much they owe. They're tracking the interest on that debt, right? Yeah, they're tracking all of this stuff so that they can measure it, because you can't grow what you don't measure, right? Then they're tracking, of course, their investments and the interest that they're earning on their investments. They're tracking this stuff monthly, quarterly, semi-annually, and annually, right? They're tracking their credit score. Got to know where you are and where you stand with your credit score. And most importantly, they're tracking their cash flow. They're tracking their cash flow. How much money is left over after all of my expenses are paid? All of my debt bills are paid. How much money is left over? That's the cash flow. And they're tracking it. Why are they tracking it? So that they can measure it. Why are they measuring it? So that they can grow it. So monthly budgets are about more than just restricting yourself to certain things, right? Number 15, they stay away from debt. There's a common misconception that millionaires view debt as a tool for investments, and that every millionaire owes some bank huge loans. Nothing can be further from the truth. On the contrary, most millionaires credit their success to their ability to stay away from debt, right? Now, when they stay away from debt, they're talking about personal consumer debt. They're talking about personal consumer debt. And the other way that they stay away from debt, where debt does not affect them, if they borrow money, they're only borrowing money to buy an asset. And if they buy an asset with cash flow, then technically they have no debt. So for instance, if I buy an apartment building, a 30-unit apartment building, and I have to borrow $1 million to do it, but the minute I take ownership of that property, its appraised value is $3 million. Do I have debt or not? That's what people don't get. If my monthly note on that $1 million that I borrowed is $10,000 a month, and these 30 units are paying me $22,000 a month, do I have debt? No. No. On paper, it says I owe the bank X amount of dollars. But if you look at my profit and loss statement, it says I own a $3 million asset and I owe the bank $1 million. On paper, it also says that I have a $10,000 note, but I also have a $22,000 cash flow. So we got to understand how to leverage and how to create and how to be powerful in the decisions that we're making around money. We got 5 more to go, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to run through these real quick because I promise you, I'm going to share with you how to turn 1 income stream into 5 income streams. All right. So number 16, they spend time with millionaires. They spend time with millionaires. Right? This is why I invest money to go to conferences and workshops, so I can be in the room where the energy is vibrating at such a fast pace, because the people in that room are successful, and their vibration elevates the vibration of everybody else in the room. When's the last time you invested some money to be around somebody with some money? Right? Mark loves to be around Grant Cardone, Mr. 10X, right? If you have to pay to get around millionaires, it's worth it. Number 17, they give generously. We're talking about habits, right? That wealthy people have that poor middle class people don't. They give generously. It shouldn't come as a surprise that most millionaires are philanthropic, but they don't just give because they have more to spare. If you care to find out, you'll realize that many millionaires have always been cheerful givers, helping others come with a sense of personal fulfillment. Number 17, they stay healthy. They stay healthy, right? One of my secret weapons to being as consistent as I can. One of my secret weapons of being consistent is my daily workout, my daily fitness, the way I take care of my body, right? That's why I can show up with the energy that I show up with at 7 a.m. every single morning, right? Because I take care of myself. It would be ironic to spend your entire life creating wealth and then die at 40 of a lifestyle disease, right? Diabetes is a lifestyle disease, right? In a lot of cases, high blood pressure, hypertension, lifestyle diseases, right? 19, let go of your negative attitudes and prejudices. This is more like changing your perception of success and shedding those self-limiting prejudices, right? When you think that wealthy people are jerks, when you think that wealthy people had to scheme and had to hurt people in order to get their wealth, what you're doing is you're subconsciously killing your own ability to ever create wealth. Because your subconscious mind will never allow you to become that which you despise. So when you hate on people, he was born with that. His father gave him $100,000 to get started. He came from money. When you make those excuses for wealthy people, you're despising them because they have. Therefore, you'll never have. Otherwise, you'll have to despise yourself. Number 20, understand that time is the greatest resource. Time is the greatest resource. There's simply no overstating this. Time is indeed the greatest resource. And the day you appreciate that basic fact will be the day that you start to stay away from time-wasting activities such as watching the television. If you must watch television, focus on financial news. Avoid too much content on sports, entertainment, and politics. Time is your greatest asset. So how do you turn one stream of income into 5? You start a home-based business. Right now, most of you guys are already entrepreneurs. So I'm saying this for the future who will listen to this later, right? You start a home-based business. Why start a home-based business, Cortez? Because it gives you access to the number one wealth building tool in the entire world, which is the United States tax code. So when you start a home-based business, then you create the ability to participate in the real game, right? The real game is lowering your taxes. That's the real game. Wealthy people do not pay a dime more in taxes than they absolutely have to. But the way they set this system up is working class people get taxes taken off the top. Well, how do you switch that? You have to reposition yourself in capitalism as an entrepreneur. And you have to go all the way legit with it. It can't be a side hustle, hookup, or a hobby, right? As my mentor, Dr. Danetta Watson, likes to say. You got to put it on paper. You got to get your LLC. You got to get your EIN number. You got to do this thing legit. Once you have access to the U.S. tax code, now you take inventory of how you live your life. because a lot of the things that you spend money on right now, if you had just that little piece of paper that says you are now gone from an individual to a business, all of a sudden, a lot of the things that you spend money on right now can legally, ethically, and morally be converted into tax deductible expenses versus bills. And that's going to save you a lot of money. The average person with a home-based business, according to the Tax Reduction Institute of America, will save anywhere from $12,000 to $15,000 per year in taxes if they had a home-based business. Guess what's also significant about that number, $12,000 to $15,000? The average working American pays $12,000 to $15,000 per year on the interest on their debts. So what are you saying, Cortez? Start a home-based business and Uncle Sam will pay off your debts for you. So you start a home-based business, that's going to create some income for you. You're going to get an instant pay raise on your job because you get to adjust your W-4 on your job to reflect that you're a business owner. They take less money out of your check, so your take-home pay on your job increases, usually $200 to $600 per month for most people. You take that $200 to $600 per month and you use that to start paying down your debts. You use some of that to start investing. You use some of that to start building you an emergency fund. Now your investment starts to grow and they start to kick off income. Your debts go down. So every time you pay off your debt, it's like giving yourself a pay raise. Because your debts go down, your credit score goes up. Now you can go to all of the things that you're spending money on, like insurance, like your mortgage, like your car note, and refinance those things and lower the monthly expense to maintain those things. And all of a sudden, wait a minute, what? Yeah, Cortez, yeah. You got to get in the game, people. I know they told you that entrepreneurship is risky, but those same people that tell you entrepreneurship is risky spend a lot of time teaching you how to ask an entrepreneur for a job. Oh, yeah. Here's how you fill out an application. Here's how you conduct yourself on an interview. Here's how you update your resume. What is all of that? It's you asking an entrepreneur for a job. Because governments don't create jobs, entrepreneurs create jobs. So they told you that entrepreneurship is risky and scared you away from becoming an entrepreneur. But the only way you can feed your family is if an entrepreneur creates a job for you to go work at. Why don't you become the entrepreneur that creates a job for other people to work at? I'm just saying, ladies and gentlemen, you got to change the way you think. You got to change the way you speak. You got to change the way you act. You got to change a lot about who you are so that you can grow into the best version of yourself. Because when you become more, you can do more. And when you can do more, you can have more. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that each and every one of you guys have a wonder-filled weekend. Till I talk to you next time, I want you to get your money up because you absolutely can do it. But more importantly, you deserve to do it, each and every single one of you. So hustle up. But you've got to overcome fear if you're going to win.
You're tuned into the Cortez Hustle Show. Please like and subscribe.